Banks will find a way to screw people over. I mean, you're probably not wrong, but the fact that banks can now hold people's Bitcoin is going to be a big thing for people, especially baby boomers. So, I mean, longer term here, this is kind of how I see this whole thing playing out. So that what's going to happen is like the banks are going to start holding Bitcoin. They're going to start buying Bitcoin as well. The banks, I think in like a decade from now, nobody's going to know how much cash they have on hand. It's going to be completely irrelevant. Every bank is going to be fighting to get as much Bitcoin as they can. That's it. That's going to be the only metric. And when banks are fighting to get Bitcoin on their treasury in their reserves, then not only is the price going to go up, but think about it from like somebody who has Bitcoin right now. You're going to be able to go to the bank and say, here, you can hold 1/10 of my Bitcoin, but you're going to have to pay me for it. And so you'll be able to go and deposit Bitcoin, or you'll be able to go and say, here, I need a loan. Give me some of those fake dollars. I don't want to spend my Bitcoin. Give me the best rate possible. Otherwise, I'll take my Bitcoin elsewhere. And if you think that that's a stretch, like that, not only are you going to be able to loan against your Bitcoin, you're going to get the best rate possible with the banks. Let's say that the second best collateral out there is land, and you're getting 3% loan for land. Bitcoin, you're probably going to get 0.5%. Honestly. So, I mean, they might screw people over. Banks have always screwed people over. I mean, the big ones anyways, like the fact that I think JP Morgan made $500 billion in 2021 after the pandemic just on bank overdraft fees. So people who didn't have enough money to pay their bills, they made $500 billion off of them. How fucking sick is that? And 500 billion, again, this is a live show. I don't have any scripts. I don't have any numbers prepared. I think it was a large amount. It might have been 10 billion. Who cares? Doesn't matter. It's a lot of money that they stole from people who don't have any money. Very important for banks to show proof of reserve, 100%. That's why I like River. They show proof of reserves. And the people who if you want to compete in the Bitcoin space, you're going to have to show proof of reserves. And that was one of my that was one of my cons from MicroStrategy yesterday. Yeah, Saylor comes out with a tweet every week and says, well, we got 400,000 Bitcoin this week, folks. But it's like, do you? Do you? And then people the MicroStrategy, and I'm a shareholder myself. I have a big portion of my net worth is in MicroStrategy. But it's like the people who defend MicroStrategy, like, well, that would be a weakness for him. That would give away his plans. That would give away his privacy. I'm like, no. MicroStrategy's entire fucking valuation is based on them holding Bitcoin. That's it. Their software company makes like $10 a year. This is the only thing that matters, and they are refusing to show that the Bitcoin exists, that they have access, that they have the addresses to that Bitcoin. That's a problem to me. And if it's not a problem to you, you need to look in the mirror and say, what do I understand what's going on here? What am I doing here in Bitcoin? If I'm just going to trust somebody out there who has a big following and is on MSNBC all the time that he has Bitcoin, I don't know. And don't get me wrong, I'm not doubting the fact that they do. That's what I want. That's the point that I want to make. They are a public company. They are audited. They do provide quarterly updates with audited financial statements. But still, the whole point of Bitcoin is that you don't have to trust anybody and somebody's like, well, they get audited. And I said, who's auditing the auditors though? Bitcoin doesn't need auditors. That's the entire point of it. So I do think that we need to normalize proof of reserves. And when we do normalize proof of reserves, that's when we're going to see the true price of Bitcoin. Because that's when people are going to realize how scarce this asset really is.